Obviously, it's not the entire building, but you'll see.
All right, guys, we're doing a live stream right now with Andrew. We've got some partners that have come down to visit Andrew in the Fort Worth office here. So we're just kind of doing a little tour and gonna
Stop talking.
We're doing a live stream right now with Andrew. We've got some partners that have come down to visit Andrew in the Fort Worth office.
It's still a process of getting everything set up.
But this is, and Charles, he said a lot of times, he said, "No, I don't want this to be like the trucking business." I'm like, dude, this is nowhere close to it. So far from it,
Hey guys, so we're live now.
Hey.
So want to introduce you guys to the owners of the Texas Care Center,
Hello.
Fort Worth location, or technically Hearst.
Hello, how y'all?
So this is John. This is Evie. Say hello.
Hi.
And the main focus today is, since this is one of the first locations that actually opened, we want to basically interview John and Evie and essentially kind of have them give us like what experience was through the entire credit process, how the marketing and the community outreach program has been working, and then we were just about this how much we underestimated demand. We knew the demand was good, but we're not even scratching the surface. So we're definitely excited, and thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this. And let's go and get this thing started. So, guys, do you want to take a seat? I don't need to sit down. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess I'll start. Like I was explaining to the guys here earlier, the credentialing process was, it wasn't bad at all. Like I also said, we had a little hiccup, but it was like, operating error. It was our own fault, putting down the address or whatever. But at the same time, once we have gotten into actually reaching out to clients, and we've learned that the demand is unbelievable. We did our first event, our first expo at Hubbard Heights Elementary School. They had an expo. Once we got there, by the end of that day, we had signed up 32 people. And those were, they weren't signed completely. We had to do backgrounds and check and see what type of insurance they had. But you're able to reach that amount of people, and there were a lot more there than we actually got signed up. But it's everybody's looking for help, especially when it comes to their children. They're looking for help. They're looking for assistance, and if they don't feel like they have the resources to get that, they feel helpless. Mm-hmm. So we're here to actually inform them, hey, you can get that help that you need for your kid. We can walk you through the steps of even signing up for Medicaid if you don't have it. So, it's just a process that we found to be really helpful. It's really helpful. I'll let you come.
So regarding the accreditation process, how long did it take from start to finish?
From start to finish, well,
from start to finish, I think we started in October of last year.
Yeah.
And that was just the first part, the first leg of Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so currently, what are we at?
I think
8 months?
Yeah, April 1st, we were able to start billing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the accreditation process, it may sound a little long when you listen to it here, but the process was so able to get a lot of things done as far as office connections, things like that, leading up. So you're not switching them through your thumbs. it's time to get started once we actually start the process.
Yeah. That was a lot of, even during the credentialing process, was let's get set up. Like we have a little home office and we started, we got whiteboards at home so that we could write stuff down. Who do we need to start contacting? Who, what are our, what do we want to do? And things like that, and just kind of getting even the little pieces started during that time period.
And so the credentialing for the insurances, I think right now we're being credentialed for Molina, Aetna, Superior, and Cook's Children. And yeah. So with those Medicaid approved insurances, I mean, we cover our area and more. Like Andrew was saying earlier about how many the percentage of people that have Medicaid and things like that. It's unbelievable. Charles Romanos, he spoke to us before. He said, man, you don't understand. There's such a need. You won't have to sell yourself. You won't have to. And our first expo, they were coming up to us like we had a table surrounded by people that were trying to understand what we were doing and get that help. And like he said, it wasn't a bad process at all. Not at all.
And then here's the thing is that I know this is a little bit different because corporate has grown substantially since you guys came on board.
Yeah.
These were John and Evie was part of the first wave before I myself even got on board. So we streamlined a lot of things to help with the franchisees in terms of the support. Poor John and Evie was part of the team that basically had to figure it out on their own. We're the guinea pigs. So it was their experience that really helped us identify and define, what type of corporate support is going to be needed. So with that said and done, we're basically utilizing their experience and basically putting the system together and figuring out, hey, what needs to be done, what it needs to make this as much of a passive investment for especially out of state investors as possible. And then another thing that I want to emphasize is like before your location even opens, we have a general idea when all your accreditation process is going to be done. Mm-hmm. Now we kind of inform all of our potential investors that it's going to be anywhere from a 6 to 9 month process, right? Now it may not take 9 months, but the reason why we say that is if it happens in 6, you're not going to call me, right? But if I tell you 6 and it happens at 9, you might not be so happy with me. Now we say that in a very jokingly manner, but it's a lot of hurry up and wait whenever you're dealing with the government. But in the meantime, our community outreach teams and our marketing teams will be out there doing the events. Now, you as investors, especially local ones, like your buddy that's here, if he wants to do more on his own, or hey, can you help me do another event? By all means. But for all the out-of-state guys, we want you to know that you're not alone in this, right? And then we will actually help you guys in terms of getting clients. As we know, one event generated potentially 30 something clients. It's
tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're expecting a whole lot more.
Yeah.
So
yeah. We all know, guys, it's not hard to get money out of the government. You just got to know how to ask, right? And for the vast majority of us, unfortunately, we just know how to ask. Yeah. So another question that I want to ask is like, how hard was it to identify the space? How much are you paying for this beautiful space?
Yeah. As far as the space, we were lucky enough to have a few options. The price range was from $300 to $3,000 and for the space that we were looking for. Luckily, we were able to get a pretty decent sized space, 3 offices and a conference room, and we're only paying $1,200 a month. And when I say $1,200 a month, that's what we start paying in 2025. We negotiated to where we got the first 3 months free rent payment.
And then
once that 3 month is up, our first mortgage payment, our first rent payment is $900 until the end of the year. Once we get to December, like I said, January 1st, we start with the 12. And a lot of those companies were willing to do that. They were willing to work with us, and that was a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then, so 900, for the, until 2025,
yeah.
but is this all bills included or?
This is all bills included. Also, our lease is 3 years. We could have gotten a longer lease, a little less money, shorter, whatever. But it's about working with
Yeah.
the company.
Now, this is approximately what, 1,200 square feet or?
14, 12,
Oh, 1,400?
Yeah, 12, 1,400 square feet.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's definitely a little more space than what is
Right,
required.
it's more, but we plan on growing.
Yeah.
Like I said, when we got into it, we didn't realize how fast it or I think we.
How fast it is, and it also depends on your area. Like
Right.
this area, the office buildings that we were coming in contact with were bigger buildings, no walls, bigger spaces, which would mean we'd have to come in, spend more money to get it configured how we wanted. So we were like, we're just going to kind of, change our comps a little bit and see what we find. And then that's kind of.
You guys really found something that's $300 a month?
300 or 395, yeah.
That is crazy.
It's one room.
Yeah.
But we were looking for a reception area.
Right.
So.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, especially in this area, God, there was so many too. There was so many. It was hard to select which route we wanted to go. So,
What area. We also looked at the area. We didn't, we wanted to be in a location that people could find us easily, that we had even some resources around. If you look around this area, we were really impressed because there's a lot of mission churches. And then there's a couple of other areas like
recreation center.
Recreation center. There's a lot of thrift towns and thrift stores around this area. So and we haven't even started in this area.
Right.
We've only started with the referrals and people that we've known.
Yeah.
So we haven't branched out here yet.
Yeah.
And that's
Like,
gonna
we're
be
at the
big.
very, very, very beginning stages. And as far as being open,
Mhm.
the clients that we received or the referrals that we received, they're in the process now of being assessed. And our QMHP will be working on those starting next week. So it's been a process, and the process hasn't been long or hard. It's just when you don't know exactly what the process is going into it, you just kind of, well, what is this? Well, where did that come from? Well, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how it is. That's kind of.
And then you would say the corporate support has been pretty good?
Corporate support every day. I mean, they're tired of listening to me because I could talk every day. Just to find out. I'm inquisitive person, so I want to know what's going on. What's the next step? What we do? So yeah, they're very responsive. Very responsive. There several people will answer the phone. So yeah. The training was good.
So another thing that we want to ask is, obviously we underestimated demand a little bit. How many clients do you think you could wind up with in this location? I mean, super conservative wise. Now that you know what you know.
I will say, okay. So we spoke about it. I think when we get a certain number, we're just going to look at all.
That's basically what we talk about. It's like it's growing so exponentially fast that we're probably going to have to look for another space and open up another.
I mean, we're literally talking about that, and we just don't.
How many do you think you can handle on space like this?
150 to 200?
No, 200 probably too much.
200.
150.
And is that with one Q?
No.
That would be 10
Okay.
That would be with 10 QMHPs, an LPC in-house, or it'd have to be in-house with 150.
Regional too, right?
Yeah. Well, we are, regarding the corporate support, we are getting a Dallas, Fort Worth regional office set up soon. And with more locations coming on board, that is just going to make those regional offices that much stronger.
I'll tell you, personal experience, we get a region, if we see it, it's going to make our lives. It's just real. Yeah, like she said, about 100 to 150. 10 QMHPs is pretty much what we're shooting for. Once we get there, we're gonna branch out. Probably go into Fort Worth.
Yeah. So another thing that we're it's in the process, right? So unfortunately, whenever we look at what is the most worthless degrees for most people, that as soon as you graduate, you end up pouring coffee at Starbucks, right? Sociology is number one, psychology is number two, right?
It's true.
So fortunately for us, we're actually, it's already in the process. We're actually going to start partnering up with universities to be able to hire these kids as soon as they graduate, right? Because they have all of the classes necessary. They just gotta go through an additional process to become a QMHP. So instead of pouring coffee for $12 an hour, you'll actually be able to make anywhere from $25 to $35 an hour. Essentially a $50,000 or $60,000 a job right out of college. So with that, which head of department wouldn't want a program where as soon as their kids graduate, there's jobs waiting for them.
What they learn.
Of course,
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that is in the works as well. So a lot of people work all these QMHPs. A couple of yeah. You'd be surprised, if you're just willing to pay a little bit more, how much easier that is.
For that, so they were, this amount on us, and we said, okay, let's go to this amount. We were actually able to get about 55 resumes, and it was amazing. We were able to interview people. I think the interview process kind of made it real to me because we were then able to see the things that we were learning and training and the things that corporate was telling us.
Mm-hmm.
They have live action experience. And so once you do that, they wanted to get closer. So yeah, I mean, once you're able to speak with someone involved and just kind of get a little more education on it, you understand the whole things start to come together a whole lot better.
Yeah.
And they also give you like sample questions. So even though this is not the field that you really know a lot about, they've got everything that you need to actually do interview processes and stuff like that.
So the training I keep going back to the training because I was saying before I had the 2-day training, I knew nothing. After that training, I felt like I was somebody. You feel like, man, I'm a whiz at this now. And so we were able to take the training that we learned, get with other representative QMHPs that we interviewed, and the studies that they provided for us. And man, you have everything that you need. You have everything. They got a book they call the Bible. They call the Bible. And we studied that backwards and forwards.
Yeah. So obviously, the way John and Navy's running things, they're a lot more hands-on than your initial more passive type investors. So they're considered more like the owner operator type because Evie, you're essentially the administrator, right? Yeah. So a lot of these responsibility will fall on the administrator that you will hire. So truly, that is your liaison between your eyes and your ears and your physical beings, literally, in your location. So we'll help identify and train those people, but make sure it's somebody that you really trust. Yeah.
Or I would say office manager type versus receptionist, admin type, because you're going to need somebody who's going to know how to manage the office, who's going to be able to work well with the other people that you're sharing, and things like that. So more office manager, but still have that admin support behind them.
That's going to be. I think your admin starting out is going to be your most important person. I mean, they don't need to know.
Hey guys.
Oh, hey.
So we have our what's up? How are you? We're live, yeah. What's up, baby? How are you? Yeah. So here we have Brandon. He is our director of community outreach and marketing. And then we have Lizzie. Lizzie, what is your title?
I am the administrative director.
Correct. So she is the one that's responsible for training all your admins. Yeah, so be nice to her.
Trust me, she is our connection.
So at this point, I really do want to open up any questions for any of our live audiences out there. It is actually going live to quite a few people. So Anton, Eric, do you have any questions for us here in Hurst, Texas?
Not really. Just really looking forward to meeting all of you. And Eric and I are going to be, coming into the Dallas-Fort Worth area probably within the next month or two. So we'll put that out there and invite anybody that wants to come check it out. But yeah, if you want to open it up to questions to the guests that are there right now, that might be the best thing to do. I think I've got most of my questions answered, but anybody that's on, Zoom here, you can unmute yourself. Anybody that's on YouTube, maybe you can, type the question in. But yeah, we're live on YouTube and on Zoom right now. So if anybody else that is there right now has any questions, you can go ahead.
What was your actual background, both of you, prior to getting started in this?
Criminal justice and athletics coaching.
Okay.
Administrative assistant.
Okay.
That's what I've done most of my life, in childcare as well, and then in school, so.
Yeah.
Warren,
Oh.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no, you caught me on guard there.
Oh, you got a whole list. Okay, gotcha.
Well, I mean, basically, that's one of the questions I was going to ask them also, their background. You spoke of that. Again, the time frame, I think you touched on that too. You said about 6 to 9 months. Because I know working with the government, they'll tell you one thing and.
Right.
And I think even with the challenge we personally had in the beginning, it still didn't take 6 months. I mean, we're still, April 1st, I think, was the day we were able to build. And so, I mean, from the time we started to April 1st was about 6 months.
As we mentioned, the reason why we say 9 is because I want you guys to be pleasantly surprised, not rudely awakened, right? So, yeah.
I think another question my wife asked me also was, when you're going into the neighborhoods, of course, how are you picking what counselors are in each neighborhood so that the kids can feel like they're at home and they can relate? I mean,
I think you kind of determine that through the hiring process of the QMHPs. You kind of, know who they are, get to know who they are, understand that. I think you would probably answer that better than myself. So
Yeah, so we typically try to match personalities, find out what the kids, different things we find through the Kansas and ALZA process and assessments, treatment plans, and we build those, like you say, personalities off of it. I've used my sports and college recruiting background, kind of to tie those different things in, listen to the families, see what they need, and then tie those into whatever we have, those QMHPs, personalities, skill sets bias for it. And it's not always perfect, trial and error. And that's what we always have a treatment plan. We bring everybody to the table. Some people match better with other people. If we, like, say, if somebody meeting a kid for 2 weeks or so, and it's not gelling, we're not getting everything we can out of the kid, then that's when we come together with the treatment plan. It's like, hey, this is going on with this kid. Somebody might be, oh, I experienced that. This is the approach we might be able to take now. And then we might, okay, we talk to the parent, hey, we're going to try a new approach. If that's okay with you guys. So
I do have a question for you, Brandon. Brandon and his team has done an extremely great job on the community outreach and being able to get the clients for locations. And one of the things that we mentioned with John and Evie before you guys got here is that I think we all underestimated demand, especially for us that isn't in the field. Now, Brandon, you were a QMHP, so you understand the process far better than all of us do. Can you tell us? I mean, even as a QMHP, did you underestimate the demand?
A little bit. I definitely underestimated the demand for it, but working in the school system for as long as I did and being around kids all those years, you can always tell that families wanted something. The problem was the negative stigmatism that came behind, like mental health. Even like with our biggest program, which is the MHR, mental health rehabilitation, people hear that, they think, oh, there's nothing that major wrong with my kid. So we work with a marketing team and some friends that we had, different social workers, and we worded it in a way that it sounds pleasant to the families. And then once the kids realize what they're getting, like, oh, you counseling us and doing different things like that. So we just break it down. We tell the families we're literally coming alongside of them. We're a helpmate. We're not coming in to serve anything, tell them if they're doing something wrong, but we just assess. And we try to spend like the first week or two really getting to know them, because once a kid, especially with a sports background, once a kid feels like you're there for the right reason, then they'll run through a wall for you and you're able to have good conversations with them. So that's the approach, is actually getting to know the client, spending time with them before you truly try to deliver major services and stuff like that too.
Gotcha. Warren? Hey. So, guys, we're approaching almost 30 minutes on the YouTube. Yeah, go ahead.
I've got someone on YouTube's asking a couple questions here. Do you have any plans in place just in case the program gets defunded?
Starting the defunding aspect of it, I mean, obviously, can happen. Well, Murphy's Law is always going to be a part of that. But a couple of things regarding Medicaid here in Texas, we feel very, very confident at is number one, Texas being a wealthier state, Texas does not take any federal funding. And then, a lot of this funding comes from property taxes here in Texas. For all of us that live in Texas, all of us that live in Texas, I want to see a show of faces. Do you see your property taxes going down anytime soon? So, the funding is there. And then also another thing that's great about this program, and Texas, in my opinion, has done very right, is that Texas has made it very challenging for adults to qualify for Medicaid, which leaves a lot of room for the children. So am I going to say, and here's another thing about this program. Now, this program is essentially a mentorship program, working with the kids, basically keeping them out of emergency rooms, out of hospitals, out of jail, and out of the morgue. And, we're teaching these kids very valuable life skills, turning them from, I hate to say it, but teaching them the skills to get them ready for the military, get them ready for trade school, get them, and some even for college, essentially turning what society has deemed rejects into tax-paying productive citizens, right? And another thing that we want to emphasize on this now. Is that a possibility? Absolutely, but it's also a possibility that meteorite could strike as well. I say this very lightly because, if this is a program that has proven to save the state money and basically proven to work with these kids in a positive manner, which politician is gonna be on to defund this type of program? It'll be a political disaster for them.
We just had meetings with politicians in Houston last week where they're literally lining up, trying to get meetings with us to figure out how they can get us in their different districts.
Oh, they want to take credit for it.
School districts. We've been having to turn some meetings down because school district wants to come in because it's beneficial to them. Now they can use their state department or individuals. Like Houston ISD was one of the biggest ISDs in Texas. They just fired a lot of the wraparound specialists. Well, wraparound specialists is literally what we're doing. So those schools don't even have these services anymore, and the families still need those different things. So expanding different things from helping with like the academic side and those components. But we just literally, parents have problems, and the ones that don't know that they have problems presented in a way like we're literally easing it off. Like the other day we was at a neighborhood and the mom was like, yeah, we just presented it to her like a scenario. She's like, yeah, I'm cooking. She had like 4 kids there. It's just a chaotic. We're like, we can have a Cumulix speed literally come in there. They can get them started on homework, give them some one-on-one counseling, do a little group deal with your kids while you're literally over there cooking, getting everything ready. So by the time they finish, it's bath time. So now it's structured. So it's like in-home daycare almost. So we don't really care what the parents think of it as long as we can present the service, in that fashion and reach the kids. So. And
then here's another thing with, with the rise of single parent families, the rise of social media, mental health is not going anywhere. Right. In fact, I would argue is getting a lot worse. And another thing that you realize is that we're teaching these kids the mentorship and the valuable life skills, right, to make something out of them. Because like say for example, those kids that cut themselves, right, if they wind up in the ER, Medicaid's paying $20,000, and God forbid they take somebody to the ER with them while they're hurting themselves. So to answer your question, yes, that is a concern, but not a very big one.
One more question. that they had was what will happen with franchisees, especially the ground level ones, in the event of an acquisition?
In the event of acquisition, the way we mentioned this before, say for example, I keep referencing to McDonald's, right? McDonald's is a publicly traded company, right? Which essentially you already sold the company, because whoever comes in and buy majority shares of that, they're essentially the new manager or the new owner of McDonald's. But you also have franchisees, right? Which any franchisee can sell. So the way we're going to structure this is, if there is a corporate sale in the future, we're going to structure in a way that all of the franchisees will be able to get the first right of refusal to sell to the corporate location. But here's another thing to remember. Once your LLC is accredited with Medicaid, you're accredited with Medicaid, even if you decide to leave Texas Care tomorrow, right? Which means you could still carry on without the Texas Care name. That's something that a lot of people don't realize. I mean, with your accreditation that you have with Medicaid, right? You could literally go and turn this into a Medicaid dental office tomorrow, right? I don't recommend doing that because that's not what we're about, but technically you can. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, I think
Hello?
so.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, yeah, I was curious about the political side of things. So, I vote really personally, but I guess the Republican or either one. This program, it doesn't.
We don't. Yeah. So one thing about Texas Care, especially, is we refuse to be religious and we refuse to be political. Care. There's a lot of hurt. And we're not going to be in an organization where, hey, you need to sit through one of our services before you get any treatment. Yeah, that's not what we're about.
Also, question I had is in regards to the out-of-state investor. Obviously, we've talked to Charles. Now we're talking to you guys. You guys are in-state. So just wanted to see how much an out-of-state investor would probably have to spend time-wise, because might be hard for us to.
Yeah. So the beauty about working with TED Associates is that within the TED Associates network, we're going to actually provide more services, right? So regarding, corporates, LPC will get you to 30 clients, but within TED Associates, they're actually going to get their own LPCs that could carry on this thing. So another thing that we're structuring this is and that's why corporate has ramped up the amount of staff that we have in corporate, the amount of services that we provide. We're actually even talking about a real estate service for all the out-of-state investors that come in that need help identifying space, right? So all of these things are actually going to be I keep going back to John and Evie. I mean, they were the guinea pigs. So all of their experiences has been fed to us and say, hey, this is where, as a passive investor, we'll need more hands-on from corporate. This is where I think we're doing well. This is what we need to work on. And it's been a working process. And I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's a lot more structured than it was 6 months ago.
So they're very responsive, listening, right. But they work for you. They work with you. We've received so much. We wouldn't be to this point if we didn't have the help that they would.
Yes. So. One thing you got to realize, right? The way corporate makes money is if you make money, because what is 13% of zero? Guys. Yeah. So it's in our best interest to make sure that you guys are extremely successful.
Have you guys done any more outreach through your local police departments and stuff like that?
We have not. Like I said, we're in the very beginning stage, so we're kind of connecting with the people that we know, and that have a connection with there that we're looking to help. So,
Brandon, you're slacking, man.
So we've been doing both for them and in corporate side. I will say in Houston, those relationships already built. Like we have different councilmen, we have racial, like in Houston, police departments called PALs, where they come out and have a whole bunch of different things. They have that up here. Yeah, one of the guys that I got on the team, he used to be working in government for like 37 years. So he has a lot of senators, congressmen, like he has a lot of connections, and we literally basically walk through front doors now instead of having to go around the back and wait for meetings and stuff. We built out the marketing team. We're gonna like build a big little hubs. What we've been able to do in Houston and like place them, in different regions where you guys also so forth.
And one of the things that I want to emphasize, this is going from the meetings that we had before. Right now, what we're doing is we're building a brand. As the brand gets bigger, right, these type of relationship will be seeking us, right? Whenever you open up a restaurant and you want Coca-Cola, you call them. You don't wait for one of their reps to come knocking on your door. That's what we're striving for. We want to build a brand so strong that whenever a social worker picks up the phone, we're the only number that they need to call.
That's what's happening. So,
yeah. And we're
yeah. Still into school getting out. So, I mean, Brandon has actually reached out to all of the and as you know, Texas is big. We have a ton of schools here. So he's only hit a small portion of the school system, but we're in summer. So,
And with Fort Worth and Dallas, we're setting up a regional office as well. So, and our goal is to have regional offices in all 11 territories. Yeah. Texas is a big state.
When you set up the office too, I think the biggest thing is understanding the different categories you got to go from on the recruitment side. Like you have like going straight to the clients, where it's like they're really hosting like little barbecues or having like, we're going tomorrow. We have like the music and the kids are right there. You can talk directly to the parents. The school stuff is something we call it making money while you sleep. Like you wake up, you got 13 emails. These are referrals. So that's like things that you didn't really have to do, and it just came to you. And then there's also like we talk about like with the police and different companies and organizations like that went down. They want to be a part of something. They throw an event. They need you there because they want to look good at the end of the day. And you're literally sitting there as a vendor and people come to your table. So you can reach this different things.
For sure. Right. We want to open up a couple more questions for the online and the YouTube crowd. Anybody?
Not
I had a question come up. Andrew.
Uh-huh.
Someone buys a franchise. Is there a certain territory that they own with that franchise? That was a question that came up, or is it,
So
I know there's so
in
many kids out there to help. It doesn't really, to me, it doesn't
So
matter. There's
in
so many
in
kids
the
out there. but-
FPD, you do have a 5-mile radius. However, especially in a highly dense populated area, like say, for example, Dallas, Fort Worth, or Houston Metro, your 5-mile radius might be 100,000 people. Yeah. At the end of the day, what your clinic could do, you're not going to be able to service even a 5-mile radius. Yeah.
I agree with that. That was just a question that was asked to me. I just want to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
At least 50% of our kids.
Yeah.
We ran into that with the deal. We did MOU at Cypress, one of the schools out there. And there's 320 thousand kids just in that school district. So even one clinic, if you say you got, say 10% of it, 10,000 kids or whatever, just servicing. Well, for every LPC, that's like over 100 LPCs you need to service that, and you haven't even touched 10% of those kids. So like the money and the ratio to margin is. Yeah.
This is what for all of us potential investors and investors, right? 3 out of 8 kids in Texas is on Medicaid, right? We're talking millions of kids, right? And for a clinic to be wildly successful, we're talking 50 to 70 kids to be wildly successful. Remember, the P&L is based off of 30 clients, right? Even if we opened up 1,000 of these centers in Texas, we're talking 50 to 70,000 kids out of millions. We're not even scratching the surface. This is how bad the problem is, guys. and it's not getting any better. One thing I might add is we're heading into recession, whether we like it or not, whether you believe it or not, right? This is recession proof. In fact, I would argue that it is actually better during a recession process, because that single mom that just got her hours cut, right? Unfortunately, sometimes they take it out on the kids. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we feel like we're satelliting summer camp now, right now. So it's like, for one, you create a hub that gives the parents something to do. It's at no cost to them because their Medicaid, their insurance is paid for it. So now, instead of the parent having to find $1,500 daycare and all the different things, you have the kids there. They don't have to worry about it. They get breakfast, lunch, and snack. So from 7:15 to 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you solve the parent problem. So that's just during the day. Within, you get the QMH peak and still can go there, in the afternoons and the evenings, spend time with them. We go doing after school programs with different schools. So we literally just touching the surface when it comes to those different things. So
And that's the one at PA.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's also something you can tie other programs like the ones we're doing. Like we train kids free for football. Like, yeah, you're in the program. We train you for free, do all those different things. We also want to help you with counseling, different things like that. You just find a niche that fits your community that you serve multi-purposes.
Yeah.
Then the kids won't go anywhere. You're a one-stop shop.
Yeah. At the end of the day, this program is underutilized is because most people and most parents do not even know this program exists. So once they see the benefit of doing this, and especially it doesn't cost them anything, this is going to have a built-in referral program that you won't believe, guys. Yeah.
Close the phones.
Yeah. Right, guys, we're heading on to 40 minutes.
I have another one. One more.
yeah, go
One more question. It said, are there any restrictions that corporate has set in place for franchisees that decide to sell? Any kind of restrictions on selling?
No. I mean, you could sell it to with solid P&Ls, somebody's gonna want to buy it. Now, I wouldn't put it up. At the end of the day, I'm gonna let the economics and supply and demand dictate that. If you sell it at a right price, somebody will pick it up. If you want unrealistic numbers, it probably won't sell.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are there any limitations in regards to, let's say, an investor want to come in and buy multiple locations? Is there a limit on how much you can have under one accreditation, or is there like a limit in regards to, I'm trying to get 2 or 3 in one particular area, but the area is maxed out and
So
there's no
Well,
availability there?
I wouldn't worry about the area maxing out. That's less of a issue. If you want to, like my suggestion is that you set up a separate LLC for every single one of these locations. The reason for is a couple of reasons. Number one, if it's all under one LLC and one EIN number, you won't know because all of the reimbursement will go into your bank account, right? You won't know what location did what, right? That's number one. And number two, we're very, very low risk because we don't utilize too many codes. In fact, the vast majority of our cases is one code, right?
Mhm.
However, you still have to, there's still a chance that your facility may be audited for whatever reason, right? Now, if you have multiple locations with multiple EIN and multiple LLCs, if one of them gets audited, it doesn't stop the cash flow for all of your locations.
Okay, fair enough. Makes sense. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
that's
makes
what I
sense because it's not only
And,
if
setting
one,
up an LLC here in Texas is $300. Go ahead.
so
Sorry.
that means if one of them gets audited, only one of them has to get audited. If they're all
Correct.
under one LLC, then one of them gets audited, they're going to audit all of them. Put you through that much
well,
more
yeah.
paperwork.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And unfortunately, with any type of government audit, they withhold payments until everything is clear. So if you have, like, say for example, 5 locations and they're all under 5 LLC, one of them get audited, you still have 4 other payment streams coming in. If they're all under one, and I'm not saying you can't do that, but you do take a risk that all 5 locations stop. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. For sure. And like I mentioned, getting a Texas LLC is pretty simple. I mean, it takes about 5 minutes and $300. Just do it. Yes.
And what's the fastest turnaround time with accreditation for the state for LLC?
Yeah. For LLC, with Medicaid accreditation.
Yeah,
Or,
there's an accreditation,
or
the
getting the
accreditation
LLC.
you have to go to actually open your office and get started. I heard it was 6 to 8 months,
6 to 9 months. Yes.
6 to 9 months before the state gives you your license to actually operate.
Yes. Or the accreditation. Actually, no license. It's actually just it's basically the accreditation for you to be able to get reimbursement from Medicaid.
Okay.
But to get a Texas LLC, it literally takes about a day.
Right. Yeah.
And we actually recorded some videos with you, Andrew, too, that we have on our YouTube channel that go through the steps of how to do it. So we can share those to anybody if needed.
For those of you that think about using an attorney or accounting office to do it, they'll charge you $1,500 and it'll literally take you 5 minutes and $300. Yeah. And don't worry, I for my first one, I learned the hard way too. Yeah. The EIN's even worse. You literally get it. You get the number on the spot, and they charge you an extra few $100 for to get the EIN number. Yeah. So. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I guess, as far as found out.
You guys look like judges, and I'm like, I feel like I'm about to get the verdict on.
I guess filing the LLC, specifically in Texas, that's something you have to do. I guess I'm asking.
Correct.
So you do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But it's an extremely simple process, right? It literally takes 5 minutes.
Okay. Only ask just because I guess people were probably like, oh, well, let me file it, like, example, state of Wyoming.
Wyoming, yeah. But for Texas Medicaid, you do have to. It does require you to have a Texas LLC. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I'm Angela.
Hello, Angela.
So I'm director of business development for Dallas County Rural Hospital.
Mhm.
So I have mental health experience, my master's in counseling. So my biggest question is, how are you using QMHPs? And we've talked about this a little bit,
Yes.
so I'm digging a little bit deeper. So I've done a little bit of research on the codes, it's skills training. So it's a community support service. And then the 2017 is psychosocial rehabilitation services. So my question is, because I work with LPCs and LCSWs, and everybody has to be clinical. How is that done? And I guess you guys are the owners of this facility, and I don't know who you are. Sorry.
Oh, this is the director.
Work for the corporate office side of it, do director of marketing.
Okay, so you talk my language. Okay. So how do you do that? How does that work? Clinical?
I'm the administrative director. So the QMHPs are all bachelor level professionals, and they work under the clinic's NPI.
Okay.
And they have to have their degree in psychology or somewhere along the lines of that.
Child family or
Right.
Sociology.
Yes, and then we do provide them with their training, and they do need to have their CANS and their ANSA certifications, and they have to get that every year. So that's how we go about getting our QMHPs, and those are the ones that are.
And then
How are we doing it?
Yeah, so are they supervised by LCSW or
Yes.
LPC? How many are under that particular LPC or LCSW? I'm just trying to think. Medicaid is very, very tricky, and I don't want to get anything that is
Yeah.
Medicaid fraud. It's the last thing I want to do. That's my biggest red flag.
For sure.
So that's my biggest dig is, how are you doing it with the without a licensed professional being in front of the kids?
That's all the assessments and all those different things are done by, side of LPC or psychiatrists, wherever.
Virtually?
Yeah, virtually or in person. You have to, you can
No
have the
option.
flexibility part of it. They oversee the notes, so anytime those notes are put in,
Okay.
you have to have one of those professionals.
So QMHPs are doing the notes and LPCs are
Signing off.
signing
on those
off.
different things.
Yeah, they're reviewing them. So it's a birth note that they do.
Yeah.
So yeah, once they submit it into the portal, the EHR system that we have, the clinical director, which is an LPC, she reviews them.
And that's a clinical director of each site, correct? Is that,
Yes.
that's correct? Okay, so
Right.
each site has a.
So corporate will get you to about 30 clients. And after 30 clients, we will help you get your own LPC. And then so within the TED Associates organization, we're actually going to bring in our own LPCs that you could share among the TED Associate
Okay,
groups.
until you get up to 30
Correct.
clients. And then,
Correct.
Okay, that makes sense.
Correct. And then on top of that, we're actually opening up in every region, we're actually opening up a regional office as well. That's how fast we're growing. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you don't have anything to add? We're about to say something.
No, that exactly what he was.
And sorry, what is your background? You said juvenile justice?
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice,
and, but, sports.
Okay.
And then I'm administrative assistant.
Okay.
Anything else, guys?
I'll speak up real quick, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. This is Joe. I actually met Andrew.
Hey,
and
Joe, what's up?
Hey, what's up? I actually met some of them in person. What was it? 2 weeks ago now, Monday. I'm
Yeah.
forgetting exactly, but it was really great to see the Houston office. It was really great to meet Andrew and Anton and Eric in person, and all the other team members, Charles, etc. And I just kind of wanted to say that from my firsthand experience, I thought everybody was great, and I really enjoyed getting to meet everybody and seeing the team. And I've worked with Anton and Eric with the trucking stuff for over a year now, so we've garnered a relationship over time. And I went ahead and actually recently, with Anton and Eric and TED Associates, I went ahead and put my first share in for a franchise just recently. I just finalized the payment and everything like that. So I guess I'm just creating a little bit of healthy FOMO for the group and just letting everybody know that I already got to meet everybody in person.
You
went ahead and
are our newest
executed.
franchisee, so welcome to the family, Joe.
Oh,
I
okay,
didn't
great.
get a chance to say that last week, but yeah.
Yeah, so just I know everybody's at a different part in the journey or whatever, but I just kind of wanted to put that out there. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to come out to Fort Worth today, but next time I bet you guys will see me. So yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely.
Cool.
Anything else, guys? Anton?
All right. No, we just we appreciate everybody that took the time to come out to meet Andrew and the team, and we appreciate your time. Andrew, we appreciate your 6-hour drive in rolling traffic. To get out
It
there.
was brutal. It was brutal. So, thank you guys so much. And I really do appreciate everybody on the call. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules. Thank you for flying out to meet with us in person. Thank you for believing in us because together we're going to change a lot of lives, guys.
Andrew, did you want to take them on a tour of?
I did. I did.
Oh, you
Yeah.
did?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I did that before everyone started. Gotcha. Anything else, guys?
No.
Okay. Well,
Awesome.
thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. And then we're gonna go back to the meet and greet over here.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Good, thanks.